All right, we're fucking back. And,
Again.
Yeah. Fucking Sandy's missing though. So locations, whereabouts unknown. But he's out there doing something productive for the betterment of Africa. So, but today we got Riddick, Spetty, and myself, and we're going to be quickly going over two things. First off, Last of Us, the TV show, not the video game, and then we're going to do The Forged because Reagan's Raiders already reviewed itself and it's 10 out of 10. So, all right, we'll start with the Last of Us. Spetty, you go. You're the video game guy, anyways.
Sure. So The Last of Us is a show that just wrapped up on HBO, based on the video game by Naughty Dog from 2013. It was 9 episodes and covered the story of Joel and Ellie as they kind of cross a post-apocalyptic America, trying to find a group.
In a mushroom apocalypse.
In a mushroom apocalypse.
Huh?
So yeah, the series just wrapped up like a week or two ago now.
Yeah.
Was it a week or two?
Yeah.
I felt like
Yeah.
it was longer than
Weeks.
that. I
No.
watched it a week or two ago.
No, but it ended within the last month.
Yeah, okay. So 9 episodes, because fuck making an even number thing.
I mean, they did what they needed to do.
They did more than what they needed to do.
I disagree.
I could have made that 4 episodes.
HBO.
Ugh.
And like basically the story, the plot of the show follows the plot of the first, like, Last of Us,
Yeah, video game.
the
Part
video
one.
game.
Hey, didn't we go over that?
But I'm just saying, like, because there's two. There's Last of Us 2, but it basically doesn't stop in the middle of the video game.
Are they gonna call season 2 The Last of Us 2?
No.
Season 1 ends where the video game ends, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's what it is. So it's not the story ended the same way the video game ended.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So the show stars Pedro Pascal as Joel.
Yeah,
and,
who's literally in everything now, it looks like.
and Bella Ramsey as Ellie.
Who's from Game of Thrones, right?
Both of them are, but
Oh,
not at the
that's
same
right.
time.
Yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. They probably never even ran into each
No.
other when they were filming.
Correct.
That's fucking
They just
hilarious.
had chemistry when they were casting.
What do you mean? Oh, like when they were casting for The Last
Yeah.
of Us. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I believe it.
So what happened is The Last of Us was originally supposed to be a movie.
Yeah.
It was announced in like 2014, but then it kind of entered development hell.
Yeah.
And so by the time they went to go film the HBO show, all of the actors and actresses that they'd previously considered had like aged out of the roles. So they had to kind of start recasting virtually.
Someone
because
aged out of Joel's role?
no, it was more Ellie.
Yeah, okay.
Because previously, like, Maisie Williams had been looked at, and there was another girl.
Yeah. I don't know how Maisie Williams would have been under that.
Hard to say now.
Yeah, I guess. True enough. Alright, interesting tidbit.
Yeah. So it was written by Neil Druckmann and Craig Mazin. Neil Druckmann was the game director and writer for the video game.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and then Craig Mazin approached Sony about a bunch of different potential projects, and they went with The Last of Us. So he and Druckmann co-wrote the first and last episode, and then Druckmann wrote the 7th one by himself, and Mazin did the rest with like input.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So.
So it doesn't stray too, like, it doesn't, without any spoiler, it doesn't stray too far off, but it fills in some of the gaps.
Yeah. So I would say
Fills in some gaps no one cared about.
I would say about 80% of the content in the show is like pulled directly from the video game, like almost verbatim in a lot of ways that it plays out.
Yeah.
There's some like minor fake outs where they're like, everybody expects it to go like this way and then they do it slightly differently.
On Psych.
Yeah, more or less.
What do you mean, like fake outs from the video game?
So for example, the easiest one to reference without it really being a spoiler is in the first episode when everything's hitting the fan, and they're driving through the town. You see in the video game what happens is they get hit by a truck, like a transport truck.
Yeah.
And then in the show, the transport truck shows up, but it misses them, and then a fucking plane crashes.
Yeah, that's why I was like, what the fuck's with the plane, bro?
Yeah.
I felt that was a bit excessive. What are they like? We got a budget. Let's show it.
I mean, yeah.
But the biggest probably, without not being spoiled, but the biggest probably separation is that in the video game, it was because it is like fungus and spores, and you can breathe in the virus, so to speak. But whereas this one, it is physical contact, almost more like a zombie thing, right? You get bit or French kissed by a thing, and you.
What's with the no spoilers? shit we keep.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to.
If you played the video game, then you know the story.
But
if you're watching this, you probably should be warned by now. Everything gets spoiled. We spoil everything. What the fuck? We like Disney on comic books out here, bro. We're gonna spoil the fuck out of everything.
All right. Well, I guess getting into spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay.
What can you really fucking spoil about this movie, like the show though?
It is kind of one of those
point
things.
A to point B. Like you're gonna guess to make it to point B.
I mean, yeah, but so like for example, people online who played the video games were just going on like random posts about it and fucking spoiling shit, just being dicks. What the fuck?
What?
That's fucked up.
Pre the episode coming out.
That's fucked up.
Eating your way out of a womb as a child is fucked up. That's fucked up.
Sure, yeah.
I'm just saying, like, your mama can't give birth to you, so you gotta eat the umbilical cord and then make your way out. Or get out first and then eat the umbilical cord.
You've been reading too many comics. That shit doesn't actually happen.
So, yeah, dude. So what is our, like, so we've gone over what the basic plot, right? Like, basically they're trying to get from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Joel is escorting this orphan. And there's something special about the orphan that may put an end to the display.
So, what, are you really worried about what you said? It's obvious.
I'm
what's
just
wrong
being
with
courteous.
It.
Just being courteous.
Is that a courteous thing though?
Yeah, it's me.
I thought like if you read the back of like if it had a DVD and you read the back of the DVD it'd be like this motherfucker has a fucking certain thing. Now I feel like I'm gonna spoil it because you fucking read.
Yeah.
Okay.
But okay.
Immune.
So
she's not fucking immune.
So pretty much the format of the show is either following Ellie and Joel as they move from area to area, or it's stories about side characters
that no one really cares about.
I mean, that's your opinion.
Really, I felt like the Jack and Jill one or whatever their names were was fucking boring as fuck. That episode was boring as fuck. I kept thinking the one dude was gonna fuck over the next dude, and it just literally happened, but nothing else.
I thought that was a really good episode.
I kind
Did you?
Yeah.
I kind of got the vibe, like a couple times there was like where it was like the plot was put on hold so they could give a little bit of the backstory.
Yeah,
It kind of gave me a sense of like Lost. When Lost came out, they had all these characters in Lost, and then every now and then an episode would be like pre them landing on the island. How that person.
I don't think it's filler though.
You didn't think for the last of it was fucking filler, bro?
No, man.
It's backstory.
What's the two dudes got to do? What are their names? Hank and Frank.
Bill and Frank.
Hank and Frank.
Bill and Ted.
I like Hank and Frank better.
So these two dudes, what did they push in the story?
Well, okay, so theirs was probably one of the most like dramatic departures from the game. Their episode.
But okay, so in the game, they were only referenced, right?
No, you do meet Bill.
Okay,
and you go through. So in the game, Bill's town is a whole like level, more or less.
Yeah.
And it's the same kind of thing. You need a battery for a car, and it's on the other side of Bill's town, which is infested with infected, and he's put traps up all over the place that you got to avoid.
Yeah.
And then in the game, at the end of it, when you find the thing, you also find that Frank has hung himself because he was going to steal the truck that they were trying to repair and fuck off.
Yeah.
But he got infected on his way over there.
Why was he going to steal a truck and fuck off?
Because in the video game, he hated Bill.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
just a means to an end.
Yeah.
So why did they go with that? What is that? See, that seems a little bit kind of. I don't want to get into why they switched that up, but it seems a little bit of weird that they switched that up. That would have made more sense that they hated each other.
Why?
Because they set it up. Like, they set it up at the beginning when you see the motherfucker. He's like, I don't know if I can trust you, motherfucker.
Well, yeah,
and the other guy's like, yo, you can trust me, but you shouldn't trust me. And then it went into like, psych, we can trustworthy. We're very trustworthy.
It was so in the 9. I'll just say in the 9 episode arc, if you remove that one episode, it wouldn't affect the rest of the.
Right. They just go to the city, pick up the truck, and then carry on. Yo, the homie was a cool homie. He died though.
So it's almost a standalone episode, but
okay, but
it
like,
does give backstory.
I mean, if you remove the episode where they go into the backstory of Sam and Henry, then
I was literally going to go into that next.
But that's the thing. The story is not just the bare minimum to get from point A to point B. It's everything in between.
Yeah, but the other side thing is I didn't even know how mushrooms taking over the whole world like that, anyways.
I mean, how do zombies take over in any fucking apocalypse?
It's
suspension of disbelief. Of course, a zombie apocalypse is not. Yeah.
Just between Asian people alone, I don't think mushrooms have a chance in America. Like, you get fucked up. You get cut up. My brother was like, you should mention how the dehydrated mushrooms could be rehydrated and eaten. sounds like it's a good point because there's a lot of that's
I
all
don't
fungi,
think you can,
right?
I don't
That's
think you
all
can eat
fungi.
cordyceps.
What do you mean?
That's not an edible type of mushroom.
Everything's edible.
No,
It's just
no.
Everything-
whether or not you live
Jesus.
afterwards is entirely
So,
Then
different.
so what are our final thoughts on Last of Us? Like, what did you think?
I thought it was good. I don't think it's like the best thing ever,
Yeah.
but I enjoyed the show for what it was. I'm interested to see what they do in the future. I think the performances were all really, really good. A lot of the cast from the video game got to come back and not necessarily reprise their role, but have a role in the.
Yeah, you were saying that Joel and Ellie, the people who voiced both of those, were in
Yep.
the,
So
who were they on the show?
So Troy Baker, who played Joel, gets to be James, who is the second in command to David, who they run into.
And that's what city are they in? The only city where human beings aren't a bunch of dickheads?
No,
No, they were still
that
dickheads.
was no.
Were they dickheads?
David was
Where
the
his
cult
brother
leader.
was?
David was the cult leader.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then
Shit! You mean the dude who was like, let's shoot Ellie right off the
yeah,
get-go?
that was Troy Baker.
Yeah, cool.
And then Ashley Johnson plays Ellie's mother.
Also kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of fun.
Like the one who was hard as fuck, gave the pregnancy,
Yeah.
and then got bumbled. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
And then a couple other ones. I want. I forget his name, but the guy who played Tommy in the video game, Joel's brother,
Yeah.
played the second in command to the chick in
The
Kansas
Fireflies?
City.
Yeah.
No. When the guys who were hunting Sam and Henry,
Yeah, okay,
he gets
yeah.
his fucking head like crushed by the bloater.
Yeah.
And then Merle Dandridge, who played Marlene in the video game, got to
Yeah.
reprise her role as Marlene in the show.
Okay. And which Marlene was the crazy
The
one? who
Firefly.
was, okay, yeah. Oh, she was Marlene. in
Kind
that?
of the beginning
That's
and the
pretty
end. Just
Yeah.
kind of like bookends.
But you did bring up one gripe I had with the show there. The Fireflies or whoever it was who had their like hero brother that killed, and then the lady that was afterwards.
That wasn't
I didn't-
Fireflies, but yeah.
Sure, whoever they are, the butterflies.
Yeah.
Whatever. I didn't like that organization at all. It made no sense to me.
Well, yeah,
I don't know if that many people with guns would follow that person who's just kind of whinny, very whinny. I don't know why you would threaten yourself with that much problems. Like for what?
Well, so in the video game, they were just raiders. They were just assholes.
Yeah,
they
that would make
had
more
no
sense.
story.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the same thing. Like David's group. I mean, are they cannibals? Yes, but that's about the only characterization they get to make them distinct from another group of raiders.
I don't know. I think you should normalize cannibalism.
Just hot take after hot take today.
I'm just saying, there are people on this earth who still
Yeah.
cannibals. What's the problem?
Yeah, so a couple other details. It was filmed all in Alberta.
That's pretty interesting.
It is believed to be the largest production in Canada ever.
That's also pretty interesting. What? For real?
Yeah, and is expected to bring in like 200 million for Alberta.
That show was that much, or just
Just,
because they were
like, 'cause
filming?
you gotta-
In terms
Yeah.
of like jobs, like tourism,
Food
maybe brought on
services.
any
Accommodations.
There's a lot that goes into it,
Yeah, okay.
and then
That's pretty cool that
Yeah.
200 million pumped through the richest province.
that's
in
what
the
that's
fucking
expected too.
country. They already got enough money in Alberta.
Not
They
saying.
should have filmed it in Pet. Put me up in that bitch.
Yeah, so second season already got greenlit back in January.
Yeah.
And it was like the show's premiere was pretty massive for HBO. Like it did better than like House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
The Last of Us did better than House of the Dragon.
Yeah.
They
I
put
think
colored people in House of the Dragon this time.
Yeah.
Dang.
And yeah, so the second season is planned to pick up the events of part 2, but they're not planning to do all of part 2 in one season. It's too long.
Well, you can't lose Pedro Pascal either. Spoiler question mark?
I mean, yeah, that's a pretty big fucking spoiler.
It's vague. It's kind of vague.
It's pretty.
how
I'm not
so
hinting
so
that
so just
Joel
so
dies, am I?
and spending this offhand, like how much time passes between the end of Last of Us?
It's a couple years. It's a couple years.
You know, that's
thought-
also a bit weird that you could have a Last of Us 2 that's kind of like Expendables 4 and Half Past Dead 2. It's like, certainly, you got to realize the flaw in your naming.
But
The Last of Us, and then you had a 2.
So
Part 2.
so what's your
It should just be a part 1 and then just call it Last of Us, I guess.
it's probably already again. But what's the what's your take on like the final thoughts as a show.
It had Pedro Pascal in it. I fucking like Pedro Pascal. I think he's pretty dope. I liked what's her face, Ellie, the name, whoever her name
Bella
is in real
Ramsey.
life. Is that her name in real life?
Bella Ramsey.
She sounds like a Game of Thrones character.
It
was good.
I liked it. I think the only gripe that I really have is that there's really only 2 scenes with infected. Like,
that's more scenes than there were with Chinese people. The mushrooms knew. Get rid of the Chinese.
well, I mean,
they'll fuck our shit up, bro.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there's not many Chinese. It's very interesting that this day and age where people go so crazy to make sure that, you know,
Are we
everyone
talking
shows up.
specifically Chinese, or are you referring to
Asian?
Asians?
How many Asian characters had lines on that in that shit? I'm representing all.
So
of them.
there in the flashbacks, there's what, Malaysia?
Well, yeah,
Um,
Jakarta. Well,
Yeah,
Jakarta.
where the infection first, like, they track it.
Yeah, but they never go back to that.
It doesn't matter. That's still that was like a fucking.
Actually, what are you trying to say there too, man? They did Wuhan and the mushroom
Jesus
Han dog.
fucking
Anyways,
Christ.
anyways,
It's
aside
a
from
bit
that,
weird. It's a
aside
bit
from that,
weird. Why'd you
Malaysia's not
pick
in
the
China,
card?
is it?
What's up?
Malaysia's not in China, is
Do
it?
you think anyone watches watching this thing?
Oh,
No.
okay.
I do my races
Captain-
just based in
Captain
general
Kwong?
masses.
The
Well, that's racist.
what's his name?
Yeah.
okay, that aside,
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was the earth-shattering thing that the media made it out to be.
It did get a lot of press like that.
It got a
Like,
lot of press.
hype
I don't
for
know
it.
if that was because it was like a gateway thing. Like, look, it's a video game that's
I
a movie.
think that's what it is. It's the most mainstream video game adaptation that is done really well.
Yeah.
Like, yes, we have Arcane, yes, we have Castlevania, but those are kind of still pretty niche.
Yeah, plus I think the whole thing about Castlevania never had a good storyline unless you were a Castlevania fan.
Well,
The
but
video
also,
game,
you had,
you know
but
what
there
I'm
was
saying?
there was Drake's Fortune, which had that was a pretty
Uncharted?
big cast.
Oh,
yeah.
I
that-
still
that
haven't
movie
seen
sucked.
that.
That movie
Yeah.
fucking sucked. You're talking
No,
about
but-
the Tom
but I'm-
Holland and the motherfucking Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That was like a main,
Punch
like
you in
that
the
was
back of the
a.
head
Yeah,
right
but
now.
that's what I'm saying. It's like it's a mainstream
Oh.
one that's been really well received.
I get you. Yeah.
I think is why it's getting so hyped.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't. So it was
They
good.
really
It was
fucked up
good.
Uncharted, dude.
But I don't think it's gonna make people like, oh, I have to go play the game.
Actually, that
I don't
is
know. I
patently
bet you it
false.
does.
Every single Last of Us game saw a sales spike
Yeah, I
in
was gonna
January,
say.
February.
I think that's what happens with any type of
Right.
thing that's associated with any sort of anything. Cyberpunk had the Edge Runner show,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah,
cranked
you
Cyberpunk.
know,
to
but same as when Stranger Things came out. Then you had people buying all the starter packs for D&D. They didn't keep playing
They
D&D.
capitalized the fuck out
I mean,
that
of course, there's gonna be a certain amount of people that just like hop on it for 2 seconds, but
Yeah.
like you can't
Yes.
deny that it is going to have people playing the game.
Do
I
we
think.
know how much the game sold?
The original game?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's
Just really quick. We're probably going on too much about the last.
And which even
Um,
as we mentioned, like Drake's Fortune, it's the same. That's Naughty Dog.
Would you
too,
stop
so-
mentioning that shitty ass fucking movie?
No, but I'm just saying. But
Yeah,
video
why
game
not?
wise, it's the same.
Oh,
It's the
go
same
figure.
video game company.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah.
same.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Naughty Dog and The Last of Us.
Yeah.
I thought
But-
Naughty Dog closed though.
No, they're fucking like
Okay.
Sony's biggest thing.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
But one of the things with Uncharted and why The Last of Us stayed a lot more true is because after seeing what happened with Uncharted, Druckmann specifically wrote in any contract
Mhm.
that certain story beats had to be followed, because Uncharted is really just a film that had some moments from the video games in it.
Yeah,
just
it's
to,
kind
like,
of
call
it's kind
back.
of like kind of like Tomb Raider. The Tomb Raider movie adaptation. It's just the
Yeah.
theme.
Yeah, I don't know if Tomb Raider. Did
It's
Tomb
a
Raider
theme,
ever
it's
have
like-
a good story. I can't remember one Tomb Raider game where I was
They
like, wow,
had
this story is
serviceable.
fucking critical.
They had serviceable.
But it's
Serviceable, okay.
but it's just like it's the character and theme that's there.
Yeah. All right. So Last of Us overall, fucking do what you want. That's my review. If you see it, do what you fucking want.
It's
And,
not like I would say
Studies
stay
it's
away.
good.
It's not
It's
like I would
good.
say run in droves. It's just
Yeah.
like, you know what?
Okay, so
Go
the
ahead.
game sold by April of 2018, it had sold 17 million units.
That's a big fucking game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then, right off the get go, that TV show is gonna do good with 17 million units sold. Like crikey, that's a license to print money. HBO, you
Yes, at least over 20 million units.
All right. Cool. So.
All right. So that's
last
Last of
words?
Us. That's
Yeah,
the last of our word on Last
Oh,
of Us.
actually, I did have
Yeah.
one interesting little fact. So in the third episode that you didn't care for,
Was it the third episode?
Yeah.
Why you gotta say it like I didn't care? I didn't really care for any of the episodes.
so they play the song "Long Long Time" by Linda Ronstadt.
Don't play that over here.
I'm not going
YouTube,
to.
go fuck yourself.
But like with the song from the last season of Stranger Things, the like plays like skyrocketed because of that.
Yeah, but it probably didn't go as crazy as
No.
Stranger Things.
No, the Strange thing went. I had heard that,
Christ.
and this was because I had heard before I watched the show. They were talking about "Take on Me" by Aha being a big one that went up.
That song never went anywhere.
And
So-
all, it wasn't really. It was like playing as they went into the mall, and it played like on the merry-go-round.
So the reason,
that song.
Yeah, the reason that is a big thing is because in the second game, Ellie like performs a cover of that song.
Yeah, that's the one they had on the trailer where she's playing the acoustic
No,
guitar.
it's not in the trailer. It's in the game.
Okay.
In the
I don't know, I
game,
seen
it's
it in the trailer
in the
playing
trailer. It's Through the Valley by Sean James.
But Joel's a real redneck though, because Linda like whatever when they put on that it's Linda Rodstadt. Like I have never heard that. My father's a country guy. And I used to have listened to Oak Ridge Boys and whatever, but I never heard that song before.
Okay.
It's a deep cut.
Well, you heard it here first.
There you go, Linda Rodstadt.
You probably didn't. You probably heard it here last. We're pretty late to this review.
All right. Well, Riddick, what's your final score?
So I would out of 10, I would say a 7. It's respectable, but not like.
Why'd you have to bring numbers into it? We're trying to do abstract reviews today. That's literally why I didn't
So,
bring numbers. Fucking thing.
7 spores out of a full leaf.
I'm going to.
Yo, the spores. We must stop the spores.
What's your rating?
Oh,
I give it 3 survivors.
out of how many? 5?
There should be only one, or us.
Man, that's a really high review. 3 out of 1.
3 out of 1.
Well, no. It's not actually a good thing, because when you say The Last of Us, I'm expecting no more than 2 people.
I mean,
But there's a lot of
90% of
motherfucking
the show is no more than 2 people.
It's happy. It's us, because it's not Last of Me.
I just want to really think, fuck my review. Just watch what you want. I'll go somewhere in between what these 2 reviews. Actually, no. Lower than Riddick, because I'm guessing Spenny is going to go higher than 7. This is your key. I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't know why you keep moving it.
I don't know. But I'm getting really sick of these apocalyptic movies making every human being group act like a bunch of dickheads. First off, there's X amount of human beings that just ain't going to be willing to live that type of life. You feel me? And whether or not you survive an apocalypse doesn't necessarily mean you got to be angry like that. But it's just like, Jesus Christ, every pocket of human being is filthy. Like, I don't think that's how humans work,
think that that's what they were trying to... Because, like, so for example, David's group, the cannibals, most of them didn't know they were fucking cannibals.
No, 100%.
So,
100%.
Like, that's the thing. It's not the whole group going along with it. It's, like, him and, like 3 other dudes.
But bro, if someone stuck a tofu burger in my normal burger, I'd be like, there's something fucking funny tasting about this tofu burger. I'm pretty sure I'd be able to do the same with.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing.
But it's yeah, I don't know.
But they were assholes. He was a bit of an asshole. And then on top of Riddick made a good point. As soon as you knew the dude, it's true, because I usually don't hold that type of thing. I see a religious person in a show, but nowadays it seems like every religious person they have in a show is a fucking bad person.
It was kind of like, there's no religious element in the game, I don't think.
No, basically,
there is a religious element when you bring in a religious person and you make them a bad fucking person.
I'm saying they changed that.
What do you mean they changed?
From the game.
From that
Yes.
guy wasn't even.
Well, no, he was.
religious guy.
I don't remember him being.
He might have. I think I just remember being a leader, like a leader.
Yeah,
and even then, they kind of like it wasn't. It was like not. We mentioned cannibals a bunch of times, but like it wasn't like a big surprise because like someone brought in meat and the person said,
they didn't.
"Ooh, what kind of meat is this?" Or like they kind of did little.
I think they didn't do a good job of like
explaining how hungry they were.
Just like they showed their cards too early.
Yes,
yeah. Like having played the game, I know they're fucking cannibals, but like.
But they kind of just when someone gave the meat and said like, "Ooh, great meat," it's like, "Ooh, what is this?" Kind of like it's kind of like, oh. Well.
Yeah, and then the sketchy looking chef took just like a second too long to.
Yeah, and then another weird thing is this concept of like just because you're in a leadership position, everyone's gonna fear you. Like I got some news for you. Ain't nobody gonna fucking fear you unless you enforce that fear, and they don't have enough supplies to enforce that fear. So why the fuck was everyone afraid? Because generally speaking, when you piss off 100 human beings, you're fucking dead. Like that's just, even if they're nice 100 human beings, that's just kind of how humans work. So I don't.
But I
feel like those apocalypse things with humans is really fucking.
I think the thing is that both the survivor groups that were hostile to them, they at least gave like kind of like it's not like that whole group is bad. It's just that
But I'm just saying, like it looked like he led them through fear. Like you know what I'm saying? At first they show you he's kind of a nice guy, but then he's like, nope, psych. Yeah. Like I don't know. I don't like seeing human beings always considered like the biggest pieces of shit. Like we're pretty big pieces of shit, but for the most part, we can. The one thing we do half decently is working together with each other when we
If
have to.
spores went off and you came to the shop,
Yeah.
we'd protect you.
Yeah, I don't know. I give it a 9.
See, so I think there we go. 7, 9, and review unknown. So, all right, there we go.
Yeah. That's Last of Us, and now we have the Forge.
Which unfortunately is going to get a quick review because we just fucking ate a lot of time with
Well,
The Last of
even
Us.
beyond that, there's not much to review.
That's true because it is, even though it is an oversized book with a decent amount of pages, there isn't actually that much of a story that moves anything forward. It just sets up a pretty interesting scenario.
Yeah.
So, but again, now that I think of it, all I know is that it's a organization that's deep into space, big enough to have the emperor of this organization or empress send out little cloney things to
Okay,
do
so
her bidding.
in the Forge,
but there's not much detail.
it starts
of what
off
they're
as
doing,
like
where
a
they're doing.
kind of pretty generic, like sci-fi space opera type.
With heavy leaning on Dune, minus the whole
Sure.
Dune planet, Arrakis.
But it's centered on a spaceship. They're currently translating through, fucking faster than light or whatever they're using.
Yeah.
I don't know if they say. To go and look into the distress beacon of a ship. They've been sent by the Empress, who, rules the galaxy. She's like the eternal Empress. She's ruled for hundreds, if not thousands of years.
With individual fucking speakers. That was
so she has some
super
sort of, weird, psychically powered envoys.
Yeah.
But the relationship between them is kind of vague in the first issue. They're her voice, but also they are very on a short leash.
Yeah. I thought you were talking about the Forge for a second.
No, the fact that so they're called Cassandras.
Yes, the speakers of the Empress.
Yeah, and the fact that one is on this mission so far out from the core worlds is super weird.
Yeah, and super shocking. They did really hammer that point.
And then the
I kind of got the blend.
Were there somebody?
I kind of got the blend that.
Hello. Okay, just give it a couple of minutes. So we'll just go back.
Hey there, guys.
Yeah, I'll give you a shout later.
All right,
Thanks,
good.
man.
Right,
Later,
see you
buddy.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we want to restart the Forge or just?
No, we'll just
No.
restart.
So the shop was just being the shop. So now
when I come down to edit, I'm not that good of an editor, guys. I don't know if you've
It's
seen
not
any of our
really-
videos.
all you do is just cut off when we start again.
That's why it's easier to just start from the beginning as opposed to finding a lot.
Hey, all you.
You ask a lot of why
Yo,
for a guy who
dude,
doesn't do a lot of much.
It's 2 cuts instead of 1.
okay. So anyway,
What
here's
did you think?
Yeah.
I kind of got the vibe of the beginning part was like aliens and the colonial space marines, except the
Kinda.
space marines were female and clone. And
Yeah.
then who they were hired by seemed like a clan from Dune.
Well, they weren't
That's-
hired by. They're all one giant ass organization,
Well,
right? That has a lot of extreme divisions in it, which is
Yes.
another one of those I don't understand things. But
So, as Riddick mentioned, the titular Forged
Mhm.
are cloned or vat grown individuals
Well, we
who
don't
appear
know
to all
much
be
about
female.
yeah, they are all female.
So far as
From
we
what
know.
we know, they're all
From what we
female.
know.
I thought didn't they mention it that they were all female?
well, this one,
I
but
could-
maybe there's
I-
another one that is
Yeah.
different, right?
Yeah.
Like so.
Yeah, the problem is that the first issue, it's introducing a very large setting, so it's a lot of info dump, but also you
Yeah.
don't feel like you learn a lot.
Yeah, you don't learn
And so
shit.
the Forged, they're you come to find out mech pilots,
Mhm.
and basically one of them is called up to meet with the Cassandra,
Well, the leader of them, yeah.
who then does some mind fuckery, and
Yeah.
then they kind of get out of they just kind of suddenly wake up outside of the Cassandra's room, and they don't really
Yeah.
remember what they just talked about, but they realize something's fucked.
Yeah, that happened to the captain
Yeah.
and the leader of the Forge.
Yeah.
Which, forgive us for not knowing the name, but because they're not named, they're serial designated, and then they have nicknames.
Yeah,
for
so
each other.
the main
It's
one
weird.
is Victory.
Yeah. So, but that was the name given to her by
Yes.
her other Forge comrades, right? It's the actual
They're
name,
call
CNC
signs. Yeah, they're
or
call
whatever.
signs.
It's fucking weird. So that's
So-
kind of why we thought they might have been test tube babies, but it could be anything.
Well, they refer to it as Kretch, which I don't know if that's
Yeah.
So on the cover, there's like some kind of mech fighting, like some aliens or whatever.
Yes.
But I don't think there's any battle in the actual.
No, there's a start to one.
Okay, so apparently a crutch is just like a nursery, so they could just be.
Yeah, who knows? Like I know. There's a lot of fantasy space stuff that has like, take them when they're young, modify the shit out of them. Like I could have swore Halo was like that. 40K's like that.
Yeah. The Spartans are all kidnapped as kids.
Yeah. I think a lot of that comes from just human history with certain things. Like, I think samurai had to be taught at a young age. And, I think knights you were squired at a young age.
I mean, Halo, it's because they need to be young so that all the modifications that they do
work with them, yeah. And then 40K is like,
Same
I
thing.
think you have to be a very specific type of human being too, don't you? Like, you're not even, you can pass all the,
Same in Halo.
pass the tests for the aspirants, but you still might not survive the actual modifications.
Well, like in Halo, they kidnap like 300 kids and only like 100 and some odd actually become Spartans.
Side note, Boot Camp was actually a pretty good series.
So there's really not enough to really go one way.
So
it's such a small sample.
The climax of the book, and we'll get into spoilers.
I don't even think we could if we wanted to. We don't know what happens at the end of the fucking
the Cassandra pops up on the bridge. And at this time, Victory gets, she starts recovering some of the memories from that meeting, and she's like, oh, fuck, shit's about to go down. Mm-hmm. Gets her crew into their mechs, calls, for an emergency launch. The captain's like, hey, what the fuck's going on? Shut it down. And then the Cassandra seemingly opens, little tears in reality in which these alien tendrils come through. Because that's another thing, is that there is allusions to some sort of bug race.
Yeah. The cover too,
and then the ship just absolutely fucking implodes as the Forged shoot down to the planet, and then they land and the ship starts crashing all around them. And that's how it ends.
Yeah, it was a really discombobulated last couple of pages, but maybe that's the way number one should be, as opposed to just having them plain old it's not that bad, not that good, hard to tell. Right, you know what I'm saying? Because number one, you read a Wolverine number one, it's like, I'm Wolverine, I'm sick of using my claws. Give me a second, I gotta use my claws.
You read a Wolverine number one, you know it's going to be bad.
It's true. But I'm just saying, is this that bad of a number? Or is it a bad number one, first of all, for not really having that much of a directed story? Right?
So, I think the biggest thing for me is it does nothing to justify the oversized issue. All of that art would look just as good.
Oh, legit.
It's probably gonna lose a point from me in.
Yes.
In
you lose.
It feels like it's kind of become a trend with indie comics to be oversized just to make yourself stick out, but it's so fucking inconvenient.
It is literally what it is. There's no.
Yeah.
Magazine bag isn't really going to fit in that. I can't get a fucking board in it. I can't put it in my comic boxes. I could put it in a tote, but only assholes put comics in totes. You crackheads put it where they need to be put. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that definitely pissed me off, the large size stuff.
Also, something we forgot when introducing this book was the creative team. So it is written by Greg Rucka.
Old Guard.
Yep, that's his big one.
Yes, sir.
As well as it was Eric Troutman, and Mike Henderson did the art.
Yeah, so Eric Troutman's more of a video game writer. He did write some shitty comic books.
So it's a trio. It's basically two writers, one artist.
Yeah, which is, you would swear you'd have a little bit more of a. But again, I don't want to sit there and say that it's trash because it was a vague story, because it's vague, and it's not vague because there's a lot of organization this motherfucker put into the I guess the civilization. What should we call it?
It's a
but
and there's a lot of weird parts to it that they'll tell you about, but you don't really know about. So it's it kind of leaves you with a lot of questions.
One thing is that the book at the end does have a massive so.
Yeah, let's fill up 20 more pages to make it look thick.
From here on, this back 5 to 10 pages is the map of the galaxy, a bunch of info about what the different worlds mean.
Yeah, but that's I have no business reading that if you can't at least illustrate some of it for me while I'm reading your fucking story.
It is weird.
Yeah, I'm looking here on your and it says it's 64 pages. So arguably 64 pages means 2 issues. The first 2 issues are in here. And it did not feel like 2 issues worth of content.
No, it literally 64 fucking pages.
That's what it says right there. 64 pages.
I'm guessing it's 5 fucking words a page. Not saying that you need a lot of words to have a good comic book. I don't think so at all.
But it did not feel like when we were talking about it being issue 1. Arguably, it's issue 1 and 2.
Another thing too, this book is horny.
Oh yeah,
It's really
it's
fucking
super
horny.
thirsty. The Forge work out like they're thirsty.
Yeah.
So everyone's thirsty. The Cassandra's thirsty. The captain is secretly thirsty.
Like they do. So the description is an over-the-top pulp adventure of sex, violence, and sci-fi. So like, it does what it says on the tin.
That's what I would say. It's like Dune if it wasn't in Dune.
I don't know.
Dragons, and it's
Inspirations say Conan,
Blade
heavy
Runner
metal,
going in.
and other comics you tried to
Starships.
hide from your parents.
Starship
It
Troopers.
just feels cringy.
Starship Troopers.
Who wrote this fucking review? Comic Book Roundup, you
No,
sons
this
of bitches.
isn't. No, this isn't.
I'm just calling out the website. You sons of bitches. You show me one way this is like fucking Conan.
Oh yeah.
It
Just
says
one,
It
just
says
one.
Inspired.
Show me how it's fucking inspired by Conan. The motherfucker didn't even live in a space age, you sons of bitches.
No, but like when you say pulp, Conan is like the pulp fucking character.
There's not even one motherfucker sitting on a table in that comic book. I wanted to be careful.
Am I wrong with that?
But I think it's comparing.
I can't table slap.
And I don't know how it's because when it's saying inspired, it says Conan and heavy metal and other comics you'd from here. So Conan and heavy metal were magazine things, right? So it's
I
like
get the heavy metal reference.
right. So that's what it's saying.
I don't get Conan. I think
Conan-
this son of a bitch did one of these things. You know
Yeah, that is red
Pulp.
color red RED.
the heavy metal. Conan.
Anyway,
Fuck off.
there's nothing like
Yeah, there's definitely not much yet, or very
No.
pulpy.
Oh, the one redeeming factor to the size and the amount of pages. It is only $5.99 American, so Canadian you're going to be paying somewhere closer to $30 with the conversion.
Yeah.
But
the
you know,
description.
show the thirst on the back. Yeah, that's right. This comic book is super thirsty. Turn that around.
Description on the back. Well, it says it's gonna get bumpy, but it says here adventure, sci-fi, space
She's
opera.
doing the what's it called? What's that face? The Kawagawa or
No, it's not quite that bad.
It is. She's
It's
making
not
that blood
quite
clot
that
face, bro.
So the next one
So-
comes out in a month. Like it was this one released March 15th. The
Yeah.
second one comes out April 19th.
Yeah. But I will say the art in it is nice.
I like the art a lot.
Like me saying that the oversize doesn't do anything for the art. The art would still look good at a smaller book. It is nice.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
there's
It's not like
I
sometimes.
swear that's more marketing than anything else. You cannot put it where you normally put your comic book for sale, right? Like if I was to put that up on the wall, it's gonna stick out like a fucking sore
some
thumb,
people-
but it's gonna hang out all over the.
But it's some of it is a market, like, you know, with those DC Black Label, right? They're that size.
totally,
With
yeah.
like some of
I
the, you know,
think-
like heavy metal,
yeah,
they're
I
that
think-
size. It's trying to.
I think the character design was pretty cool. In particular, I think the character that I found most interesting is there's a character who seems to have some form of
Mute.
mutism, and they
mutism.
talk through a little drone.
Yeah, I thought that was also dope. That's
Yeah.
mentally connected.
I just
for-
thought it was a separate thing. That drone was just its own
No,
thing.
that's her
speaking
voice.
for it. It's a little bit hard to pick it up when they're playing
I did
poker.
at
But
first. I didn't realize, but by like when they're talking about the mechs, at that
Yeah.
point it becomes pretty clear.
yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I actually like the Forge a lot. Like the group. Oh no! Now you know what the fucking stand is.
I'm pretty sure they could probably see it anyways.
Yeah, whatever. We got a lot of money on our budget. Though.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
You like the Forge?
I like the group of them. I want to know more about them. I want to know how they got there. Is it something that are they all born in a pod and then carry on through life, etc.?
I will say the mech suit
Interesting.
design pretty uninspired.
Yeah, it reminded me of like 80s fucking
Yeah.
Robotech.
They're
here's our
very
robot.
flat.
Yeah.
The biggest question, I like what. So we were planning to do Last of Us. Let's kind of do a second thing. Ox like suggests let's do the Forge. And
Yeah.
after I read the Forge, I'm like, why would Ock even suggest this? Because
Because fuck Marvel, that's why. Fuck
Pretty-
Marvel,
pretty
fuck
much-
DC.
pretty much didn't really leave any.
What do you mean? What are you trying to say right now, bro?
I could have lived life without ever having to read Forge #1. I could have been okay.
That's what. So what? So Last of Us gets a 7. Forge gets a what?
Maybe 5.
You're on fucking cocaine, bro. We don't
5.
got the budget for that.
I'd give it a 7.5 because of the oversize. That lost a point.
Yeah, I feel like the oversized, and I wish you were a little bit more specific on what was actually fucking happening. Maybe give us a bit of a context to why this mission might be a little bit more important than normal missions, or at least explain what the fuck is happening. Because you kind of get this feeling like something's either wrong between the Cassandras and the Empress,
Oh yeah.
or something's wrong with those two and the Empire. but they don't really get into the specifics about what it is. So I would review it. One survivor out of two of the us is, I don't know. I think I kind of pigeonholed myself with that first review of The Last of Us. When I give it the forged. It was forged.
Yeah, I could pick up a stack of comics over there and find at least 5 more interesting comics than this one.
I doubt you can. That's a Marvel stack over there, bro.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I
mean,
don't
it's
know.
certainly not the worst comic I've had to read for this show.
Yeah. So how about this? If you like sci-fi, if you like Doom style sci-fi where it's very kind of all over the goddamn place, go for it. If you like Conan, it has nothing to do with fucking Conan. I don't even think I've seen a sword in the fucking goddamn book.
If you like stories that like feel complete, wait till a couple more issues are out.
64 fucking pages, not a goddamn fucking sword. You open up any Conan book, I guarantee you within 4 fucking pages you're gonna see a fucking sword, because that's kind of what the fucking Conan the fucking
I think
barbarian
you're focusing on the wrong part.
No, he gets paid to do this. It's not fucking fair. We don't get paid to do this.
I think that's probably where we should end. We don't get paid to do this.
We don't.
But yet we do it for the love.
It's true. And the Forge.
And if there's an apocalypse, we got your back.